everybody rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alrighty, first thing on the agenda tonight is approval of the agenda.
I'll move for the approval of the agenda for February 27, 2024.
Second.
All in favor, say yes.
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 All opposed, say nay. That passes. Now we need approval for the consent agenda.
I'll move for approval of the consent agenda for February 27.
Second.
Approved and seconded. Roll call vote. Correct?
This is
Just
No, regular vote?
Yep.
All right, all in favor say yes.
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 All opposed say no.
No.
Motion passes. Messages from the mayor, council, and city manager. Mr. City Manager.
The only thing I'll mention is that Mayor Pro Tem Holmstrom, also Deputy Sheriff Holmstrom, recently received a life-saving award. I think it's hit the social media, but just wanted to say congratulations and thank you. It wasn't me that you saved.
Thank you as well. Yeah,
You might have passed.
that photo was taken by the mayor that day, and it kind of went viral, needless to say. So, yeah, it was a good day. Person's up walking around, so that's always a good thing. So, there was actually that day I think we gave out 8 life-saving awards, a combat, and I don't know if we gave out a Purple Heart or not, but there was several that were included in that. So if you guys want to look, it's on the county website, should have that. So it was a busy year. All right, let's go to the left.
Okay, I just realized I had some changes to the minutes. Is that something I could do next time, Scott? Or we approved it? I forget that when we do the consent agenda, the minutes are part of that. I'll just write them in and send them along. There are just a few changes and a few additions that were, a couple things that were a little incorrect, and we forgot a couple of things in there related to the boards and commissions. Steve, I think we forgot that our suggestion to do it in March wasn't necessarily included in there. So apologize for that. We'll catch it next time. Just want to let folks know that I am working on the Senior Advisory Committee and open to suggestions. I'm a little bit slower to get started because I got hit by a nasty virus last week. I'm not contagious, so don't worry, except for the grouchy virus, which you might catch from me because I'm still sniffy and it's very annoying. But I am working on that, and if folks have any ideas. Also for questions for a survey to reach out to seniors and say, hey, what services would you be interested in seeing in the city of Whitehall? I didn't realize this, but we have 644 seniors in the city of Whitehall. That's a lot. So I want to make sure that we're meeting their needs. By the way, there is a meeting March 6th. I think the Senior Millage Committee is having a meeting to look at extending that, so for the county. That's all that I got.
Wonderful. Mr. Sickingham.
I have nothing tonight.
Mr. Brown.
I have nothing tonight either.
And neither do I. So let's move on to the first public comment. Anybody want to make a public comment? Come up to the mic. You have 3 minutes. Let us know where you're from and your name, and we're happy for that.
Hi.
Hello.
So I'm Kaylee Schramm. I am from Whitehall, and I am the new event coordinator at the White Lake Area Chamber of Commerce. So I just wanted to come in and introduce myself. I'm sure I'll see many more of you around. So our next event is the Business Expo at the Whitehall High School on March 23. So I hope to see some of you there. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Anybody else for the first one? The second one, the students we have in the audience, you got to come up and tell us who you are, who your teacher is, and then we'll come sign it afterwards. I think there's 3 or 4 hiding back there. So that'll do it with first public comment. I see we have no old business, correct?
That is correct.
Go on to new business. Walk the beat. The first request for Covell Park.
I'll make a motion to approve the walk the beat request.
Second.
All in favor, say yes.
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 All opposed, say no. Walk the beat, second request.
I'll make a motion to accept the request as written.
Second.
Alrighty, so the second one is for Spring Street sidewalk. So all in favor, say yes.
Yes?
Yes.
All opposed, say no. It passes. Goal setting session. Mr. City Manager.
Yep, as is typical for the city council, once we have new council seated, following the November general election, we go through a goal-setting process, bringing in the public, the council, all the authorities, boards, commissions, and committee members are invited as well. And what we do is we have a brainstorming session. Then following that, the staff will put together a list that the council will vote on, and that'll steer us in our finances and resources for the next 2 years. And we're just recommending the goal-setting work session for the 19th of March.
Wonderful. Sure.
So the 19th is the work session. Now, in the description, it says there'll be a public forum. Is that the March 19th? Or
Yes.
is there a separate one?
No, that'll be March 19th. Well,
Okay.
it'll be open to anybody,
We usually divide them up, only if we have,
depending on the numbers.
The
You know,
numbers
sometimes when
divide
it's
up
been
into groups.
smaller numbers, we just stay in one group, but we have divided up into 3 different groups before.
And I'm assuming you're gonna do something on social media and I don't know, is there time for the newsletter?
The next one comes out
Probably
March, or April, I'm sorry, so no,
Oh, okay.
but it will be on there.
Okay, it is a tight timetable for goals. Myself, I'd like to take a little longer, but just if people are clear about what we're doing, I think that would be helpful.
Yep.
alrighty, sounds good. Can I get a motion and a second on the recommendation?
I'll make a motion to approve Tuesday, March 19 as a city council goal setting work session at 6.
Second?
All in favor, say yes.
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 All opposed, say no. That passes as well. Park improvements, Mr. City Manager.
Yeah, this is an outline, basically following up the grant applications that we had submitted last year. Council had recommended doing Funnelfield, G Park, and Goodrich Park. And we do have to have a public hearing prior to submittal on April 1st, so you can see that timeline is really tight. One thing I do want to point out, a little bit of concern from my seat, is that if we make application for all 3 of these, Funnelfield and G Park will require a $300,000 local match for the general fund. That's a huge chunk to take out of the general fund, certainly at this point. So I don't know if council would like to reconsider, but we do have to, it's kind of an odd timing because April 1st, we have to commit to the DNR that you will fund the project, even though our budget doesn't take effect until July 1. But we still have to make that written commitment for it. At this point, I think that would be a huge chunk out of the general fund. I know I've been pushing for park improvements for a long time, and Jeff, you've been there too. But I'm not sure we can really financially swing both Funnelfield and G Park. Certainly not to the degree that Funnelfield is set at. And the $400,000 is the maximum grant allocation out of the Resource Trust Fund. So I think that would be not a high likelihood of being funded. Typically, when you see the large amounts, that goes to the Grand Rapids, the Detroits, the Lansings, the large cities, and they're still focusing on urban parks this year.
So your recommendation would be to take either funnel or G out of the,
Well, I'm very comfortable moving forward with G and Goodrich. if council wants to make that big commitment on funnel, we can give it a try.
If they approve it, the 400,000, and we don't have it approved, then we miss out on that grant.
Yeah, if we don't fund the 262,000, obviously we will not get the grant, and we get a black mark on our record for future grant applications.
Haven't we already applied for it?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
that passed, yes.
And I believe, I had the numbers, I actually looked at the allocations. They were able to fund about a third of the grants that were submitted last year. And it's a scoring process. You start, and there was actually one community that had a perfect score. Never seen that before. But there's possibility of 200 points, and I think we were at 130. And I think 160 was the cutoff for the funding. I think 15 of 37 applications were approved.
Could they, it's either approved or not approved. It's not like they might say, well, we'll give you half of that or something like that.
No, the only thing is, once you submit and get your official score, they will have a staff member come out and they review the site and they make recommendations. You know, if you do this or do that, you might be able to resubmit for higher points. And we did that with Goodrich Park last year. I think we got about 30 more points, but it still wasn't enough to breach into the funding source. So yeah, they wouldn't come back and say, well, we'll give you 200. It's pretty much an all or nothing.
Oh, okay.
So if we waited on funnel, when would it make sense for us to apply for that park then?
Well, I guess it kind of depends on where council wants to go. I think the biggest issues at Funnel Field are the bathrooms. I've mentioned it before, the Little League fields have not used those bathrooms because they're not usable. They've been using porta-johns for probably the last 5 years. Of all of these, I would say that is the most critical. We could scale it back and go for one bathroom, and bring that project down a little bit. I didn't really like the numbers that I came up with either. The estimated cost is $666,000, in case anybody's got superstitious issues out there.
I figured you added 400 to it to make it so.
I had to get that out of there.
Well, I was thinking of like next year or the year after.
What we've been doing for the most part is making some sort of an application every year. So we're gonna keep going until we get the funding. And I think with this year, we had sold lakefront property for $105,000. We used that as the local match. And what the council's position has been is if we don't get the grants, we will still use that local match to do whatever we can. So, you know, if you do budget $300,000 out of the general fund, and we don't get either grant, you can probably replace one bathroom and do pretty much all of G Park and some other things in Funnel.
So are restrooms more urgent than G Park improvements? I mean,
I would say yes. I mean, G Park's got one new piece of equipment with the fall protection. But you know, you get, we actually, just before that bathroom pretty much went out of commission, they did host a regional Little League tournament. Everybody loved the community. Hotels can be a challenge in the White Lake area. But the restrooms were kind of a comment from those out-of-towners. And, you know, having been in a lot of tournaments, that draws a lot of people, and you really want to be, you know, put your best foot forward because you want them to come back year after year.
The restrooms, are you talking, it says 2.
Yep.
Is that 2 for the Little League field, or is it the Little League field and the softball field?
It's 2 buildings. Right now, down by the playground and the softball fields, there is a restroom that's men's and women's plus 2 storage rooms. And then similar situation up by the Little League field. But the bathrooms by the softball fields, they're getting old, they're starting to age, but they're still functional. The ones up by the Little League field are
Gone.
yeah.
What's the possibility of cutting that one back to where we're just gonna do the bathrooms at the Little League field and wait another year or 2 before we try to see how we can come up with the money to do the ones at the softball field?
We could do that. I think I estimated $100,000 for the bathrooms. I think it's just crazy, $100,000 for a couple of bathrooms. But what we look at nowadays is that you go with the unisex. So, you know, whichever one's open, go ahead and take advantage of it. So you'd be looking at, to make it attractive, probably a $50,000, do a 50-50 match. I think that is a 25% match required, where the other two, excuse me, are a 50% match. So we could do that. We can scale funnel back and try and get the most critical need, at least in the pipeline for grant funding.
Yeah, I guess I would just assume, you know,
Start with that.
start with that, and I don't have anything against G Park, but for where it's located at, I think it's more of a small neighborhood park. It's not a park that draws people into the city. So I would have a tendency to lean towards maybe pushing that one off for a while too.
And that's the last part that's the last part that got anything, I mean, done to it, so. As far as I'm concerned, but
Okay. So we'll scale funnel back to just one bathroom.
let's do that.
Go with G and Goodrich as indicated. And then we would just need a motion to set March 26th as the public hearing. And we'll have some nice pictures and
There we go.
pretty stuff to show the public.
Now, do we need any
Need a
kind of
mo-
an amended motion, or just,
No, you're just setting the date.
since this one's just a,
When we actually, after
Always
the
get
public
ready.
hearing, then we'll ask for a vote on the specific grant application.
okay, I'll make a motion to approve the park improvements agenda.
Second? Anybody?
Second.
Motion's been made, it's been seconded, all in favor say yes.
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 All opposed say no. Motion passes. Up to ordinance 2401, the deer control. Little update, we know what it is, I think, but the public.
Yes, we are changing one word. We're changing it from no less than 6 continuous acres down to 3.
Did we do any looking into what that might do as far as eligibility went?
No, I did not.
Okay.
I think you would probably have more, obviously, with the smaller acreage. But most of the city lots are, somebody'd have to do the math, 65 by 160, however much of an acre that is. You're still not gonna get a lot of individual households. Well, I mean, a bunch of them can get together, but no, I don't know how much that would open up.
Yeah, I guess we'll just wait and see.
See, it says, the city council in its sole discretion may approve or deny an application. I don't recall approving or denying any applications in the past year. So, how did that happen?
Second to the last.
Well, to revoke any property is eligible. The staff, Brenda.
Well, to revoke, but above that, it says the city council
Oh, okay.
in its sole discretion may approve or deny an application.
Yeah, basically, we've had staff approve them, providing they met, we
That's
didn't
what I
bring
thought,
the
that's
individual
what I
ones
thought
back
it
to
was
council.
until I read that.
It says may approve,
It says may approve or
it
deny.
doesn't say you have to.
May, oh,
You gotta read, you gotta read every word.
Think like a lawyer.
Yeah, yeah.
there's no shall in there.
Yeah, right.
Bottom loss.
Yeah, so we're okay leaving it
Yeah,
there?
it's okay, because it just says it may. I mean, I guess you could override them and approve one, or
Right, or
or
disapprove.
override them and deny one.
Okay. How about, what if somebody wanted to appeal?
Well, there is no appeal process.
No, but they can come here and ask you, and you guys can.
Right, okay.
We haven't denied anybody yet, have we?
No, I don't think so.
No. No, we
I'm just
had one
curious.
that was, they were about an acre or two short.
Yeah,
And actually, they were actually measuring out to the middle of the road. And it still didn't get them enough. But they just went to another neighbor. I think that was the 3 parcel.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the ones that got a deer too, if I remember right. So, I think so. I think it was a pretty good sized buck.
Was it?
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to accept ordinance 2401 as written.
Second.
Motion and seconded. We need a roll call on this one because it's an
We
ordinance.
do.
There we go.
Brown,
Yes.
Sittinga,
Yes.
Covell,
Yes.
Holmstrom.
Yes. Motion passes. We're up to the last public comment. Anybody want to make a comment? Feel free to step up. If not, the students can come up one by one and state who you are and what your teacher's name or what class. And then we'll sign your documents at the end. So who's going to be the bravest? There we go.
My name is Corbin Sanchez. My teacher is Mr. Brunson.
See how easy that was? I don't think you got close enough to it. Oh, it's, well, it's turned on, yeah, I don't have to turn it on, yeah.
I'm Michael Jones, and my teacher is Joe Brunson.
Thank you.
I'm Genevieve Kroll, and my teacher is also Joe Brunson.
I'm Jackie Stout, and my teacher is also Mr. Brunson.
Thank you much.
Gilbert Seaver, and my teacher is also Joe Brunson.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else? All right, I guess we can adjourn.